All right, everybody, welcome to session number 11. Pathfinder 2 Extinction Curse. Last episode, we wrapped up book number 1, and you guys took out Kavnakash, all of his followers, and cleared the Aeon Tower and freed up the Aeon Orb from being destroyed by Kavnakash. So you guys took care of that, went back to Aberton, got all of the loose ends tied up. You got the ledgers back to the priests. That was, they were missing out of the library, a couple of books. You got Harlock Hamdeal's journal back to him. He was also there negotiating with Mayor Aber. And everything's good to go. You guys had a long rest. There was a couple days worth of celebrations. And you guys had spent a couple of days traveling to Escadar. So that is where we are at on the journey to Escadar. As I flung my mouse all the way across the other side of the room, I was still thinking about that email that I just got. So settle down, Dave.
Make a plan and stick to it.
Gotta love the post office. Post office is a joke. I can't wait till the post office goes out of business and either Federal Express or UPS takes it over and just takes care of it, because the post office is a joke. It is ridiculous.
It'll probably be Amazon.
That too. Yeah, that would be great also. Amazon. But hey, welcome, Doug. Welcome. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the map of the Starstone Isle. So as you guys can see up here, you guys are on the Isle of Arran. You guys are at Aberton. So basically, you guys are going to make the almost 50-mile trip to Escadar. Look at that. Great measuring tools now with Fantasy Grounds Unity. Love it. So it's almost 50 miles. It takes a couple of days to get there. And where we left off was you guys were just within vision of seeing Escadar. So as you guys get closer, and you're inside of Escadar by this point, and actually you're getting a lot of how should say, like, what the heck is another circus doing here? Because you guys know that the other circus, the Celestial Menagerie, this is their home turf, basically, right? And you guys are all defectors from that circus. So, but the event was, the journey to Escadar was pretty much uneventful. And this is a town that's on the coast as well. So there's a salt in the air, and you can see that there's all kinds of gulls and other large birds that are swooping and crying overhead as you guys are going into the city. There's all kinds of grandiose buildings, especially towards the city center. And it's basically rising above everything else, and you guys are traveling through a sprawling market right now. And there's, you can see that there's all kinds of proud ships that are sailing in and out of the harbor. There's a swift wind blowing your hair. All kinds of laborers and travelers milling about. You're in a port city, right? So there's all kinds of hawkers that are, as you guys are going through the market square, they're trying to pawn their various goods and stuff to you guys. There's all kinds of fishmongers that are, trying to sell the daily catch, which actually the professor, he's in charge of doing all of that stuff, making sure everyone's fed and everything. So you can see that, you guys do need to eat. So the professor and his crew, they're buying a bunch of fish to have for dinner for probably the next couple of days for the circus. You can see that there's all kinds of armed guards. These armed guards are in a navy blue type of uniform. They have their bronze badges, and they're patrolling around the marketplace. And as you guys get to, you're walking through the streets of Escadar, you guys need to find a certain individual. Anybody remember this individual's name? I think I gave it last week, didn't I?
I don't.
Anyone? Andera Paul Dean. And that's basically, Andera is the chief constable of Escobar. So you guys make your way through the streets. You guys have actually met Paul Dean before because...
Can you put that name in chat?
Yeah. There we go. Andera Paul Dean. But you guys know from information, you guys also know that there is a temple that's under Escadar here, right? The Moonstone Hall. Because that's supposedly where these, the Zolgas or troglodytes, they were getting orders from other, Zolgas that were supposedly in this Moonstone Hall. Because that's where you found the journal of the succubus's book. So, but you guys are, as you guys get close to where the constable is, there is someone that greets you, and obviously he asks what the business is here, and you guys and the professor say, hey, look, we're needing to perform here, and this gentleman, Dericus, he introduces himself as Dericus, and he says that the constable can see you, cannot guarantee anything, but he says because there is already one circus in this town, and this is what the gentleman looks like that is talking to you now. He introduces himself as Dericus, and he is the senior constable for the chief constable, Andera. So, but you guys will need to, and as you guys are talking, the professor also tells you that you're going to need to acquire a plot of land because you need to house the circus, set everything up, and so there's going to have to be some negotiations. And Dericus has said that, well, Andera can see you, but he can't guarantee anything because there is already a circus here in town. So he takes you inside of the constable's building and introduces you to Andera, which you guys have actually seen Andera before with your time at the Celestial Menagerie. And there's another individual there also. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what these individuals look like. This individual is there as well. Some of you may remember him. His name is Delamar Giovin, and he is actually an employee of the Celestial Menagerie, and he is in talks with this woman, which is Andera Pauldreen, the constable of Escadar. So as you guys are escorted by Dericus into the office of the constable, he brings you into this circular office, and it's It's beautifully put together, with rich brown wood, and this is, like I said, it's a circular office, and there is the desk, when there's all kinds of, shelves with records and books and journals and all this other stuff. There's a row of chairs where you guys are able to seat. All you have to do is just pull a chair up. And this woman, Andera, she's talking to, you guys know this Giovanni guy. He works for the circus, your competitor. And as you guys are, escorted in by Derricus, basically she looks up at all of you as the door opens up, and she holds her hand up apologetically to Giovanni, and she says, "Thank you, Delamar, for bringing this issue to my attention. And if that's all, though, it appears that I have another appointment." And she says, welcome to my office. What can I help you with? And as Giovanni stands up, you guys actually do, because he wears all that flamboyant colors, in his clothing and everything. And as he turns around, he sees all of you, and he kind of gives a sigh, and then he looks back at her and he says, "These are the individuals that I speak of." And then he doesn't leave, he stays, and he kind of stands behind her desk, standing beside her. So not like at an attention or anything like that, but he's standing beside her. And she says, "Welcome. I'm Andera Pauldreen, Constable of Escadar, and what can I help you with today?"
Well, we're the true circus coming into town, not those fakers, that celestial menagerie. And, we need a plot of land to put our circus on. And we're going to bring you some things you've never seen before. Which the celestial menagerie has never done.
And what would that be? But I first off, I do appreciate you coming and wanting to put on a show for our fine town of Escadar. But I need you to get to the point quickly. I have several other appointments that I have this afternoon, and you're needing a plot of land. Are you wanting to perform here for Escadar? How many times are you wanting to perform, etc.?
Yes, we would like to perform here in Escadar, and we need a plot of land in order to set up operations. And, we'll put on as many performances as we can in the time that we're here.
Yeah, we were the heroes of Aberton, and we gave them a great show there. But we've heard great things about Escadar, and we just think that the people of Escadar deserve better than the Menagerie, because the Menagerie tried to come to Aberton and put on a show for the people to compete with us, and it didn't go so well for them. I mean, if we have to just speak bluntly, they kind of failed miserably. But we're here to just return the favor, and I feel like competition is great for the people of both cities, and they will clearly see that we are the superior circus.
So Giovanni, he kind of looks over at Andera and he says, "Ooh, milady, I have to rebuke this, but unfortunately, this circus brings a dangerous element to our fine city of Escadar. In fact, this ragtag group of performers, they attacked some church of Abadar back in Aberton. I don't see how that would warrant us giving them any kind of permission to perform. I mean,
Well, you may not have heard, but we saved the Ion Tower, which basically protects the whole island. So we're like a national treasure here. Our word has not gotten out yet, fully. But definitely check with Aberton don't ask a circus clown what happened. I mean, maybe just ask an official from the government. not some circus clown.
Very good point. We did not attack a church. We actually liberated a church from an evil cult.
Yeah, Master Harmick Heimdall, he loves us. Everybody that meets us loves us. So I'm sure you're gonna love us too. Have you ever spooned with him before?
I'm sorry about that. That was good. So she says
he spoons all of the constables everywhere we go. Basically, he just spoons them all.
She says, I did hear something about the temple, about the lightning temple, where the monks say. I did hear something about that, how it was corrupted. And I take it you are the adventurers / circus managers that have saved the day on the small island to the north. Well, I have my ears open.
Yep. But we gotta tell you some other stuff besides the circus. The circus is definitely, the main reason why we're here. But there's some other important things, but we really don't want to discuss it in front of, a clown. So if Delamar can hop out of here.
Differ. I beg to differ, good sir.
They send him out to entertain the crowd when everything else fails. So he's always out there in clown face. You may not recognize him, but he's one of those clowns.
So Andera, she looks up at Giovanni, and she says, "Giovanni, good sir, please, would you give me a couple of moments with these fine individuals?" And he kind of looks at all of you and gives you the and kind of gives you the nose up as he says, "Well then, I will leave you then, but just please remember what I told you." And then he walks out and kind of shuts the door to the office a little hard. You could tell that there was a little tension in the air. And he takes and he slams the door shut. And she says, "Well, I'm all ears. Convince me. Why should I have the Circus of Wayward Wonders in my town?" Because honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, the Celestial Menagerie, they've been doing a fine job for years. And I would rather not have tension between your traveling circus and our hometown circus.
I can guarantee you there won't be any tension on our part as long as they can behave. We worked for them for a long time, and everything's not always as it seems on the surface. They were known for stealing, cheating, mistreating the animals and their performers. There's many things that we could get into that would, shed light on their character. But I would say competition is always a good thing. Give us a chance to prove ourselves, and I think you will see that we bring a much more quality business and entertainment factor to your fine town.
And what say you, Wizard? You've been sitting there quiet.
Well, I would think you want some new blood in town. Aren't you tired of the same stale performances, especially that clown? I'm sure you see the same stale performance night after night. Don't you want some new blood in?
Well, they usually perform every week. They usually do a performance. I don't think it's stale. They've always done. I've enjoyed it. My family enjoys it. All of the fine families here in Escadar, they enjoy the performances. We've never really had any accidents. But
think of your town. You could have 2 circuses in competition. Think of the marketing you could do there.
And besides, our circus has never secretly fed its visitors to the performance animals.
So you really think that Mistress Dusklight, do you think she runs a shady show? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely.
We cut our teeth from that show. We know exactly what goes on behind the scenes. You might not know what's behind the curtain, but we do.
Well, I remember several of your performances in the past, so that's why I'm asking. So the reasons why you broke off of the Celestial Menagerie was because of how this mistress does like she treats everyone, treats the animals, etc.?
That is correct.
Yeah, because I really like animals. I mean, I don't like to mistreat them or anything, except rats.
Weren't you the one that actually set the tent on fire one time?
The tent? No. I'm good at pitching the tent. That's what my claim to fame is. I can pitch a tent in record time.
Oh my goodness.
So, but the other thing we wanted to talk about is very important, and that's the.
I'm all ears.
So when we were at the Ion Tower, we uncovered some really demonic sort of activity, and this was the same as the church that we went to as well. So we had to liberate.
What does that have to do with Escadar, though?
Well, that's what we wanted to double check. So you being the constable, you're probably really interested in this whole idea of, demonic stuff trying to sneak in because it comes in under the covers. So, evidently there's a Moonstone Hall. Have you heard of this?
Yes. Escadar was built on top of Moonstone Hall. This has been, many years ago. But yes, there was a Moonstone Hall here at one time.
We have reason to believe that maybe this Moonstone Hall has a temple to Zev, something like that. King, is that the right pronunciation?
That's good enough.
Looks at you like, what in the heck?
And I'll hand over the journal from the succubus and, try and put some evidence in our hand and explain that, as my little friend here was telling you, that there's a huge plot that we've uncovered, and one of their high-level servants that we defeated at the Aeon Tower, this is her journal explaining the danger that is growing here under everyone's collective noses.
And even though this lady that wrote this journal gave me a big old smoocheroo on the lips, and I liked her for a brief moment, she was really evil. And she had like a tail, and she tried to kill everybody else, all my friends. But then afterwards, I guess she didn't work out well for her. But anyway, when I saw her later on, she looked like a normal person, like a normal, just hot lady, kind of like you. So I wouldn't want the same sort of thing to befall you. Other than the smoochy part, I'm always open to the smoochy part.
Well, she says, I'm sure that will not happen. I don't think my husband would appreciate that very much. However, I will say that this Moonstone Hall, the city was built on top of this. So as far as I am aware, that there is no Moonstone Hall anymore. And this is interesting. She's kind of flipping through the pages of the journal, and she's kind of looking. She says, "So what you're saying is the Moonstone Hall still exist?"
There's probably an entrance somewhere. So maybe on your older buildings, or maybe graveyards are great places for entrances to that kind of thing. That stuff.
So why don't one of you, seeing that you've all proved your case, you've all stated your case to Andera. Well, in fact, why don't we do a group? I would say you can use diplomacy. I'll let you use diplomacy or any other relevant lore skill that would pertain. So I want 4 rolls from you guys to see if you are going to sway Andera one way or the other. And she's kind of pondering this as she's looking through the journal that you got from the succubus. And let's see what your guys' rolls are.
So diplomacy?
Yeah, diplomacy or any other kind of relative skill that would actually help you with your negotiating. So she shuts the book. She slides it back over towards you, Kane. And she says, "I think you've sold me. I think competition would be good. for the other circus, the Celestial Menagerie. But I will say this, I don't want any trouble out of you. Because Giovanni, he has told me some things about you and your circus and what has happened, where the town of Aberton had almost been destroyed. I don't want that happening to my city. I run a tight ship here.
I give you our word that you will never find us in any close proximity to their establishment. I would almost go to guarantee that if there is any trouble between us, you will find that they will be causing it on our side of town. That's exactly what happened where we came from. They had no business there. They weren't allowed there. They weren't set up shop there. They came to start trouble. So I give you our word, as long as they stay where they're supposed to stay, there won't be any trouble. And before I forget, ma'am, I have to inquire. Do you here have an ordinance requiring citizens to wear underwear?
Please no. Please no.
There's no ordinance. Wouldn't that be under common sense and not an ordinance?
Not everybody operates under common sense, but I just wanted to define. It's not for me, man.
This?
It's not for me. I have plenty of underwear.
Well, my rash is all healed up after that blessing from the Ion Tower. So, I mean, I could try to put them back on again now. I just didn't, I was chafing and rash. It needs fresh air. That's what you said. Rashes need fresh air. It just happened to be in a spot that,
She kind of does this.
We just don't want to run afoul of the law, or anybody else that, possibly if we had patrons at the circus and decided they didn't want to wear underwear.
And
that's something that I never thought of.
I don't do cartwheels when I'm not wearing. I mean, because after the last time you said that was a bad idea with the acrobatics and the not wearing. So.
Man, just
please please keep an eye. Keep this one out of trouble, please.
No problem. It won't be a problem.
I'm going to take you for your word. I am going to get, and she pulls a piece of parchment out as she starts writing. She says, I'm going to give you 2 weeks, a 2-week permit to hold a couple of shows. Maximum of 2 shows. That's what I will allow. And you can put on your shows any way that you see fit. I have an area of land for you, and it is on the north side of town. I'm going to give you 2 weeks. But with this land, it's easily accessible to the city, but it's badly overgrown, and there's some treacherous terrain. There's a swamp and stuff. There's been word of dangerous creatures as well. So I'll tell you what. I can see 2 advantages of this. So I'm going to go ahead and let you perform 2 shows over a 2-week period. You will give us 5%. You will give the town of Escadar 5% of your take as a fee. And you also need to clear this land. Because I think it would both benefit you and us. It would get you away from the Celestial Menagerie Circus, and it could also benefit us to have that land cleared, because there are some things that the town of Escadar wants to do with that land. So if you clear that area, that would also help us as well. And plus, it would give you all the land that you need to set up your circus, set up your acts, and I think that will be a win-win situation for both parties. Do all of you agree to this?
Makes me want to pitch my tent.
So do you have any questions for me?
Would you be?
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you be against us doing a small amount of investigation to find this Moonstone Hall?
I will allow it. But if you find anything out, I would like to know about it.
Oh, most certainly. Most certainly, madam.
Just please don't cause a lot of attention to yourself. Don't bring a lot of attention.
Understood. We are very low-key.
But you do know that, speaking out of character here, the city of Escadar in the past has been known to be quite shady because of its political dealings and accepting bribes and all that other stuff. But